Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Sunday, November 9th. Weekly just closed, and we're just going to do a weekly update video. We're going to be using TrendVantage as the indicator or algo, which uses support and resistance based off of trend. And I think this is a really good indicator to use because if you're unfamiliar with what trend is and how it works, you can use this to your advantage to see where the support and resistance is, and it basically tells you what the current trends are within the certain time frame. And as always, we're going to start with the monthly time frame. Basically, what I'm going to be doing is basically overlay the levels that I'm watching using the TrendVantage, and some levels that I also think that are important that you should be watching on the TrendVantage. As for instance, we are going to mark this monthly level here at 114,000 because this is also the top of that swing, which could be the potential from a current trend down, right? It did make a new low, so this blue line would basically be continued from that current trend right there. So we made a new low, and we are holding this red swing right here at 102,000 approximately. And given of how the price action currently looks on Bitcoin, it is holding this. So with 20 days in the month left, this is the key level of support you want to be holding. We also have this monthly level here at 108.2 that you should be watching. If you do close below this, this could be a new level of resistance. And ideally, we have monthly support here at 96. And as you see right here, we also have support here at 82,000 because this is that start of that trend that took you to the all-time highs pretty much. So in short, that we have to watch these important purple levels, but the target right now is 82,000. If you look below at the TrendVantage, it has marked these dotted levels, and the dotted levels meaning they are tested. There is no liquidity at these levels. I just would watch for this one at 71,000, for instance. It doesn't look tested on the monthly, but I would keep an eye for it. But below that, we have also 45,000 I would keep an eye on, and I'd also keep an eye on 35,000 as key levels of support if we do start a bigger downtrend going into 2026. Ideally, 82,000 is something you want to be looking for. As we push it to the weekly time frame right now, knowing that our monthly levels are purple, right? We do have important weekly resistance right here at 114,000.5 approximately. And I'm going to mark this level weekly so you know what it is. And it actually has confluence with that monthly level around there too. Then again, we do have the start of the trend down on that weekly right here at 123,000. I would keep an eye out for it as well. If we do just stay below this 114,000, we're basically in an area where this could be heading a lot lower. So I would just be watching this until 96,000. Alts look pretty interesting as of right now. So if we do start to see a pump up on Bitcoin, like for instance, if it starts to come up to this 114,000 level, I am expecting maybe alts to continue higher. If we start to push down, I think alts will get devastated again, and we're going to be pushing to that like 82,000, 78,000 weekly level as of right now. So I'll be watching the bottom range because if you understand what the current trend is and what is going on, I would anticipate this area here not really to be holding unless we start to lose 96,000. So let me just repeat that. 96,000 is the level to hold, but below that is pretty much all air until we get to this level of support here at around 82 to 78,000. That's what I would want to be keeping an eye for. Let's push it to the daily. Daily looks pretty good. It is trying to push up to that start of that swing at 110,000, which is marked by the TrendVantage. So we're going to mark that level right there just to have the chart so we can see it on a multi-frame analysis. If we do get above this 110,000 level, we are going to be pushing that weekly and monthly. So just keep in mind, I'll just turn this off for a second so you can see it a lot better. Just keep in mind that if you do get above this, you could have that nice push to run that monthly weekly level at 114,000. So just keep an eye out for that. I think as of right now it is pushing. Right now we'll see if we reject around here. It is currently trying to testing this bottom range here. Could reject here, but just keep in mind of where the resistance is. A lot higher, and support is pushing a lot lower. I just know there's a lot of air below here. So what I could expect is if we do start to dump, we have big areas, right? We have a big range here, and you ideally want to be catching the amount of space within this range here, because that is basically a free fall from 96 to 82. So keep that in mind. If we do start to drop, the drops are going to get pretty intense. I think it is going to be setting up for that, given that we are making new lows, for instance. So there's new lows here, and we're making a new low here. And let's see if we're going to continue this by just making a new downtrend. Hopefully it just makes a higher low, for instance, from here, brings it down. Maybe we get one more test here, then we push lower. Depends where we close, where we not. So we just got to watch for this weekly closes and see what happens. I think we could push a little bit higher given how some of the altcoins look. And we're just going to push it to Litecoin, because Litecoin is one of those coins that I am keeping an eye out for. You know how I like to mark things on my chart. So let's just start with the trend vantage on here. It's basically saying on all multi time frames that it wants to go up, right? So I wouldn't want to be going against that. The main target here is around 207 a coin. That is ideally the best spot. I think there will be a reaction here ultimately when we do start to pump, given how the last monthly looks. But ultimately, like if we start to hold the bottom ranges, for instance, around here at 153, we could see something like along the lines of up, down, and then new all-time highs. I am expecting new all-time highs on Litecoin, given that it is very tested right around these regions. Here, I don't have the right Litecoin chart open, but if you remember previously, maybe I should pull it up. Litecoin USD on Coinbase. If you do remember, we failed to make a new high. We failed to make a new high in that last bull run back in 2021 on Litecoin. So anticipation is that if you failed, the next attempt is more likely to do it this time. So above 207, we are going to make a new high above 420, ironically. These market makers do that on purpose. I'm not surprised. 420. Okay. Then, so if you're looking here on the weekly right now on Litecoin, it looks pretty good. And just going back to the monthly real quickly, the amount of times they've tried to break out from here, I think you guys know what I like to do. I like to draw these eclipses right around here. And basically it's showing that these levels here are tested. So there's no liquidity here. So if they're going to pump it, the pump is going to be very vicious. So I am going to be very cautious. Right now on the weekly, it is trying to hold that bottom range at 107. And we do have maybe even some support around these lows here at 97. I don't know if it's going to get that low. I would like to see 107 hold. And then you just have one weekly level of resistance at 118. So I would look for bids on Litecoin, and anticipation is to swing this to 200 minimum. Swing it to 200 minimum. Even if you just don't care about the price right now, the idea is to just take this to 200 and possibly all-time highs. So I think this accumulation here, if we're looking at all-time highs, this entire range is accumulation, right? And we do break out of accumulation eventually, right? So it's either we go up, right, which is probably more likely in how the monthly is looking like, or we go down. So given that if there is a BTC dominance shift and we start to see that alt season, given that Litecoin has not really done shit since, I don't know, for the last 5-6 years, I would have to assume that crypto would go up and down in this with this current pretext that we have right now getting set up for this. Let's look at what the TrendVantage has on the daily. It has support from 101 to 98, which aligns with that weekly level. I would like to see how this holds. Preferably, like, you do just want to see trend continue from that previous swing right there at 104. So if it like maybe holds above 104, you're good to go, given why the 107 level makes sense. If you make a new low below 104, you have that 101 to 98 level. I think maybe we could come down and dip more, but if we don't, it will give some type of entry, which would make sense. So just be patient with it. I would just wait for a dip. If it does, 107 is somewhere I'm interested in. And if it goes, it goes. So keep an eye out. I think I'll just cover hype, because why not? Fuck it, right? Hype. Well, you do have that monthly resistance here at 45. Just mark that. Strong magnet. Boom. 45. So if you stay below that, what is the next level? I guess it's saying 13, but you can always put a second test here, right? At 26, for instance. So keep in mind, I don't really think it's going to get that low unless Bitcoin really does shit the bed. Anything could happen. Weekly resistances right now are 47.3. Marking that. And we have weekly resistance at that swing test all-time high at 53.67. So I would really watch out if you do start to fail 47 and 56. And then let's say you, for instance, we are holding the bottom range here, for instance, at this 38. I'm going to circle it right here at 38 and 39. So you want to see these levels hold right here. And then we do push. But if we fail, expect new lows, for instance. Expect new lows below there. And we could maybe see new lows below here, but given we could get a second test around this region here. So just be cautious as of right now. So if we stay below and we fail, the expectation would probably take those lows down there. I'm really not interested in anything here right now. I think most of the moves have happened on hype. Because right now it's just been chopping sideways for God knows how long. For almost like 6 days, just chopping sideways. It's trying to make a decision sooner or later, so I don't see any entries unless you're already long from below. You do have the start of a trend support here. Well, that's where it's trying to hold right now, 41 daily to, we have the start of that trend here, 40. So we could hold and push, but I'll just keep an eye out for that levels. And then you also have daily resistance here at 47.96. Mostly it's saying up. The weekly is up, monthly is down. So I'd really like to see how this is going to shift. It's saying down on all the higher time frames. So it'd be like, given of how I like Litecoin so much, like, don't be surprised, because just going to Bitcoin, like, a lot of us are aware of that 96 target. So if you just stick to that, I think you're better off playing that before we see some type of season. Maybe that 96 level holds and then we get a higher push out up on altcoins. But I would just be generally very cautious of what could possibly play first. So look where it gets to first, see if it's holding, if it's not, and then you can make your decision. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you got anything out of the video, like, support, subscribe. I will post this indicator TrendVantage in the description. You can definitely check it out. They have a free light version, I believe, and I hope you can use it to benefit your trading. Alrighty, take care.